Hey guys, Tammy here. Hope everybody's doing good. Today I have got some things I want to share with you concerning herbs. I had several different remarks in my last video wanting some more attention brought to this for them. And so I thought I would lean into that more for you guys. First of all, I want to say thank yous all for watching my videos. I really appreciate yous a great deal. I hope yous all are doing well and healthy. In case I get scatterbrained at the end and don't tell you this, I bless you guys, every one of yous, and appreciate yous a lot. Anyway, I want to talk about two of my favorite herbs. It's two that medicinally as well as therapeutically I have to have for, my own purposes. Everybody's got their favorite herbs and all that kind of good stuff, and that's good for different reasons. But I wanted to share with you my two favorite, and they're easily to get, so it's not something that's hard to get. Those would be nettle, which I had several people ask me to do some more videos concerning this, and my reasons for why I love nettle so much. And nettle is my number one go-to for medicinal as well as therapeutic tea. I drink it every week just because I know the properties that it has in it. But when I want to use it medicinally, I use it in a different form. And that's part of what I want to tell you about. Also, I want to show you my dandelion. Dandelion is my other favorite. This here is just the petals that you can see here. And one thing I want to tell you with the dandelion, if you go out to harvest your dandelion, don't do it too early in the morning. You want to do it in the morning, but let the dew come off of it first. And the reason being is any dew left on these dandelion petals, they will start turning to seed really quick after you harvest them. So make sure the sun has already took that dew off of them if you harvest your dandelion. This is some dandelion root. This here is going to be made into a tincture. I just haven't done it yet. I've got it roasted, but it's not ready to, or I've not got any alcohol to put in it yet. So but I'm not ready for it anyway, because I also have this here, which is a tincture of my dandelion root. Dandelion root is naturally more potent than the petals or the leaves, either one. I use leaves a lot in salads and stuff like that. I collect them a lot in the spring. My dandelion root, I harvest it this time of year. From the time after your first frost on is when I harvest my dandelion root, just because it holds more of its properties than the wintertime and the cold season. And I put, like this here, I put it in alcohol. I soak these. What I'll do with these here is I will cover this up to just a little above where it's at with alcohol, at least 80 proof or above. Clear alcohol is best, but that's my preference as well. And let it set for at least 6 weeks. If you let it set longer, that's fine. If you don't do it as for long, you won't get as many properties pulled out of it, but I would do it at least 6 weeks. And then you can strain it and put it in a bottle. We're going to talk about amounts here in a moment. My nettle, what I do with it is I grow it in different places on my property. And yes, I have a big old jug for it because I love it. It's my baby. But what I do when I harvest this is it'll be long stalks, probably, I want to say 3-4 feet tall. And you will want to wear gloves if you use stinging nettle, because it will sting you. And I take it from the stem and I pull the leaves off, kind of like you would if you were pulling leaves off of a turnip green or anything like that. You leave the spine, leave the stem, and just pull that off. You can take the stem, that's fine too, but if you leave the stem, they'll be more apt to grow more from it, and you'll get more than one harvest off of it. I've harvested mine everywhere, all the way from spring till fall, till the frost gets it. And I just do it that way. That way it continues to keep abundantly supplying for me. Now at the end of the season, if I'm going to use it for nettle fibers, which there's a fiber in there that's similar to linen, I'll harvest that. Now I can't say that I am an expert on linen with nettle fibers, because I am far from it. I have harvested some a couple times actually, and I still have it. I've carded it and all that kind of good stuff, but it's still not ready. I've probably got enough. I took a huge bundle, and it takes a big bundle to get anything, and I've probably got enough to make me a bracelet or something like that with it, but I haven't got that far. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. The point is, you can leave those stalks and let leaves continue to grow on it throughout the season, or you can cut them off and they will still come up from the ground and grow some more. So either way is fine, but I like to do it this way because I feel like I get more leaves. I do get more leaves. Okay, now properties from these things. Both of these have diuretic properties in them. Both of them have antioxidant properties in them, which make them great for your digestive system, great for your immune system, great for your skin because of the antioxidant properties in it. Let's see. Specifically, what I like my nettle for is it's good to balance out all of your primary organs like your liver. It helps, well, both of these detox. I'd say dandelion probably detoxes a little more in some ways, but nettle also detoxes in some ways that dandelion don't. So they both got their benefits in that category. They detox your liver, your gallbladder, your kidneys. Nettles are super, super good for your kidneys as well as dandelion. That's the primary reason I like to take it. It's good to balance out. Well, I wouldn't say balance out. Nettle tends to block excess estrogen from being produced, from being produced. So if you're going through a lot of hot flashes, you know that you have excess estrogen in your body. This is a good one that I try to double up on whenever I'm in that place on my cycle that I need, so that I have that going on in my system and it don't make it nowhere near as hard on me with hot flashes and different things like that. I will throw out my disclaimer here when I tell you these things. These are things that I do myself. I'm not telling you to do them. I'm asking you to look for yourself and do your research to find out what would be good for you. Don't take don't take this as a way to cure yourself or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I use it for and how I use it. Anyway, so that is my big major herb that I like for that. And as well as dandelion. Dandelion does a lot of those same things. Dandelion is more better for your skin per se than the nettle will. I've never used the nettle in a salve, but I use my dandelion in a salve. It's known to help with a particular UV ray to help protect your skin in that aspect. And therefore, both of these have antioxidant properties, so both of them would be good for your skin in that aspect. I'm just tipping the iceberg on these off the top of my head, so I'm sure you'll do your research and you'll find even more things that these would be really good for. They also use the stinging nettle for arthritis. Now, I've actually experimented with this too. Sometimes my joints and stuff like that bother me. Not just arthritis, but it can be gout and different things like that would do with your joints and stuff and arthritic type situations. I have actually put that on a place that was hurting. I forget where I put it now. I think I put it on my hand. It's been a long time ago since I did that. But I think my knuckles was hurting at the time. And I put it on there and it stings. What it literally does, it stings. I can't describe the pain. Some people like it, but I'm not a fan of how it feels. But I could tell that it definitely helped the pain. I think it kind of confuses the pain, but it also supposedly injects some things into your skin. I'm not an expert on that, so I can't tell you for sure, but I do believe that it confuses the pain. So, hit this hand if this one's hurting, so you confuse the pain of this one. It's kind of the same concept in my opinion, but that's just my surface opinion. That's not my medicinal opinion. Okay, but medicinally, it is supposed to, and I'm sorry I didn't get the proper information for this, but there is a chemical that it can place into your joints that helps the pain of arthritic pain and all that kind of stuff. Okay, primarily I use this. You can use the root on this, by the way. That naturally, when you use the root, you're going to get a more potent product. The seed is amazing for your kidneys on this here. So you can save seed, and it puts out prolific seeds throughout the year too, or near the end of the year. So that's something else I will mention to you. If you want to save for seeds, which I recommend you do, when you strip those stalks, like I was telling you, to get the leaves without stripping, with leaving the stalk, don't do the very top of the stalk. Probably, 3 inches or so up at the top. Leave that. That way it will give it a chance to seed out better for you. So that's another thing that's very recommended concerning it. I'm trying to hurry up with this video because I don't like to make them too long. If you're going to, I got this measuring cup I wanted to tell you. If you're going to use a therapeutic tea, which is usually what I do with my big kettle here, I just have, this is a 10-cup kettle, and I throw my herbs in there by the handful and go on. That's my therapeutic. That's just to keep it going through my system as a maintenance, but basically. But if I'm going to make a therapeutic tea, or not a therapeutic, but more of a medicinal tea, you actually would use about the same amount of herbs. You would use about 3 grams, which equals out to roughly, depending on the herb, roughly 2 teaspoons. If you go a little above that, it ain't going to harm nothing, because I probably do most of the time. But there again, I throw out my disclaimer, this is what I do. And then about 100 milliliters of water, which would be a little less than a half a cup of water. Now, I want to show you what I would do. Like I told you with this one, I got 10 cups of water in here. I was actually fixing to make this. This is the reason it's full of water already. And I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and do a video for this. And I will use the little, I've got it sitting over there, the little container that comes in it, and I fill it up with a bunch of, basically I do a handful and I squish it down in there. And I'm going to be doing my nettle and my dandelion. I use that mixed a lot. And a lot of times I add clover and different things, but clover's another one of my favorites. Oh, the protein content, I wanted to tell you this too. Both of these have a lot of vitamin A in them. The dandelion, I think, has a lot of vitamin K in it, if I'm not mistaken. But they both are, nettle has a really high protein content. It's actually the highest protein content wild plant in the United States. So I think it's like 26%, if I'm not mistaken. It's in the 20s. So that's really good protein. So, you can drink this as a tea or medicinally or therapeutically and get a good amount of protein from it. Therefore, if you ever was in a place that you needed to have extra vitamins and minerals because you wasn't getting it from nutritional food, and that's primarily what I do. This is my vitamins, is what this is. I drink these things because of the vitamins and the minerals and all those good things that are in there. There's calcium, potassium, magnesium, copper, zinc. This is just my baby. This is my multivitamin, is what this is. Anyway, I'll hush. I'm sorry. I've got an attachment, as you can tell. I'll show you a few other things that you can do, medicinally speaking. Now, if I'm making a medicinal tea, you generally want to use a medicinal tea between 3 to 6 times a day. There's different opinions on how often. I kind of figure it's depending on how bad you need medicinal help. I'll put it that way. So at least 3 times a day, if not 6, up to 6. I would put, like I said before, 100 milliliters of water in this, which is a little bit less than a half a cup. I would just generally, I eyeball it, and I fill this little cup here to a half full, because that's approximately half a cup. It's pretty big around. Anyway, well, so big around. And I've got different ways that I would do that. I've always used these in the past, but I don't really use this very often anymore. These are great. There's nothing wrong with them. They got a little hook on the side for you to hook them to that and all that kind of good stuff. And they untwist to where you can smash your herbs down in there. And I don't overly smash my herbs. I've mentioned this several times, but I don't overly smash my herbs when I put them in my jars, just because that releases the oils and things and causes it to evaporate. And I want to keep those contained as much as I possibly can. So that's why I'm very particular. That's why that's in such a big jug, because I don't like to mash it. But anyway, and you put your herb in that. Another thing, which I make these, and I can sell these as well. So I've got these little Muslim bags that I've made, and I stick my herb down in there, however much I need, medicinally or therapeutically, either one. If I'm just wanting a good cup of tea before I go to bed, chamomile, is a great one to go to bed on. If my stomach's bothering me, a lot of times I will use lemon balm, or sometimes I even put some ginger in it, for that matter. And stick my little stick in there, and I just put it in my cup, and I let it set for at least 15 minutes if you do it this way. I like to, if I know I'm going to, sorry, I'm looking at my cat, it's outside. If I know I'm going to use this medicinally, I like to a lot of times use the hot water and pour it on it, and then let it set overnight. And generally I would do that with my bigger one, because if I'm going to do it therapeutically or medicinally, I want more of it to be able to have. And I'll just let it set out on the counter overnight, and that pulls out even more of the medicinal properties that I want. Another thing that I use, a lot of times I've used these little things for the coffee like that, but this ain't necessarily the way you're supposed to use this thing, but I prefer doing it this way, just because it gets to sit down in that water for a while, and it's easy to pick up, and I always squeeze it out after I get done and then toss it. And I like to put this in my compost pile, because the stuff you don't get out is great for your compost pile. But anyway, I didn't mean to make this long. If I did, a lot of people scoff at teas because they think that it ain't all that great. But if you make a medicinal tea and you use it therapeutic, or you use it like I'm talking about, and then after the fact, let's hypothetically say you have a UTI, and you use your teas for your kidneys and your bladder or whatsoever, which Nettle would be one of my top ones, as well as Dandelion for those two things. And I make my medicinal amount so that I can drink it on and on and on for the next, I want to say 10 days. Because anything medicinal will take a little bit longer than usually, if you get antibiotics from the doctor, they tell you 10 days, take them 10 days. So it's kind of the same aspect in a way. But anyway, 10 days if you're medicinally going to be doing this with 100 milliliters to 3 grams of herb. And then after that, just to keep it maintained, I will do the therapeutic version to just kind of drink it throughout the week. A cup or two a day, depending on, and I love to heat it up. You can heat this up. I put this in the refrigerator, this whole thing, when I do that, and put it in the refrigerator. Pour me a cup of it, put it in the microwave, put a little honey in it, or agave syrup in it, or just whatever you want to put in it. And this one, I have a chai mix that I make up that I like to add to this. This is actually good with the chai mix in it too. So that's heated up herbs that makes it even better, kind of stimulates everything even that much more. But I think that's all I wanted to say with you guys today. I actually have a friend who has an Etsy store who already has bagged up some herbs and different things that he does, and he does different things than I do, and vice versa. But if you want to look into these a little deeper and find some things that maybe would help you and get you started in doing some herbs, where he's got his already prepackaged and all that kind of good stuff, it would be great for you to be able to jump over there and to get you something to get you started and get you motivated to seek into this more. And that if you go to Etsy and look up Food for Seeds, you'll be able to find him, and he